Hello, and welcome to yet another video on Ace Jake Doctor Who. Today we're talking about Doctor Who stuff, because this is a Doctor Who channel. What the hell do you think I was going to say? Moving on. Today I'm going to briefly discuss 5 Doctor Who novels I wish were TV stories. So yeah, these are some of the books from my Doctor Who book collection that I think are so good they honestly deserve to be TV stories. Yeah, let's run through them one at a time, shall we? First up we have Time Worm Genesis. I'm joking. First up we actually have Shining Darkness, 10th Doctor book. Yeah, I think it's really good. I think this one would have made a pretty nice, maybe a little two-parter perhaps. I think, yeah, I would have really liked to have seen this one as an actual television episode. I mean, it's got the 10th Doctor, it's got Donna, it hops between different planets in the Andromeda Galaxy, it's like a big epic space opera. What more do you want? Oh, and the main villains are also a little midget, businessman type evil guy, a 3-armed lizard man. Yeah, from what I remember, it's a long dead cult of anti-robot racists, basically. Yeah, it's basically a story about this ancient cult that's like on the verge of being resurrected, that are just like super against robotic intelligences, basically. Yeah, it's essentially kind of a racism story, but it's organics against mechanical beings. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. Yeah, Shining Darkness, really like it. I don't know what the general opinion is on it, but personally, after reading it, I love it. I can't quite remember if the villains were planning on wiping out all of the robots in the universe or enslaving them all. It was one of the two, I think. But yeah, either way, really love it. Next up, we'll go for another 10th Doctor one, and this time it's Prisoner of the Daleks. And I think this is quite possibly the best 10th Doctor versus Dalek story that has ever been written. Yeah, fuck all of the televised stories where 10 meets the Daleks. This is where the real shit's at. It was 2009, so it was a solo Doctor story. Yeah, when he was like on his own for a little bit. Yeah, it's pretty good. The Doctor meets up with some Dalek bounty hunters, which I believe were a thing in the expanded universe at the time. So yeah, it's nice to see that people haven't forgotten about that aspect of the Whoniverse. Yeah, it's basically this, I can't remember exactly, it's been about a year since I read these two in particular. It's been about a year since I've read this one as well. I can't quite remember what the Daleks' plan was, but it was something evil, obviously. Probably some kind of like take over the universe nonsense. It's the Daleks at their most brutal, possibly, let's just say that. There's literally scenes of them like murdering, I'm pretty sure they just murder these prisoners that they have like mining this shaft. They just like, work harder, and they're like, I can't, so they're just like, okay, fuck you. They just outright fucking murder them. I'm pretty sure they almost murder a child as well. I can't quite remember, I'm pretty sure that almost happened. But yeah, that happens. Characters die brutally, some pretty early on as well. The Doctor gets, I think the Doctor gets like tortured and shit as well at one point. It's just kind of depressing. Yeah, the Daleks are ruthless motherfuckers in this one as well. They do not let up for a second. And also introduces Dalek X, or fuck, what was his name? The Dalek Inquisitor General. There you go. Obviously Dalek X is his nickname. He's basically like a Dalek version of Nemesis from Resident Evil 3. And this book does kind of reach a climax with Dalek X chasing down the Doctor and what's left of this crew of bounty hunters after they brutally slaughtered most of them. And yes, basically an epic final showdown, should we say, where the Doctor just completely obliterates Dalek X and leaves him for dead on this abandoned planet. Hell, he even goes back later on to taunt him when he's all broken and like dying and whatnot. It's pretty kind of brutal for 10, but then, let's be honest, given the Daleks' actions in this book, I think that's kind of justified. So yeah, Prisoner of the Daleks. Bloody fantastic Dalek story. Absolutely brutal, and I love it. Next, we're doing a classic Doctor, the 4th Doctor. We've got Festival of Death. Yeah, I love this one. I really do. You might be a bit confused as to why there's a lizard on the cover, but when you read it, I think it probably makes sense. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack in this one. It's a time travel based plot. So, and when I say time travel, I don't just mean the TARDIS takes them to a time and then they do an adventure. I mean like they arrive like in the middle of the story essentially, and then the Doctor, Romana, and K9 are just hopping back and forth in time constantly in this story. It's kind of confusing. Yeah, the whole events of this plot are just laid out in completely non-linear order is brilliant. Some great villains as well, lovely setting. There's so many great moments in this. This takes place during season 17's timeline. So yeah, if this was a story in season 17, I think that would make that season actually a lot better than it is. I mean, I actually think it's an okay season to begin with. You know, you got City of Death and Sharda. But yeah, if this was in season 17 instead of Creature from the Pit, shall we say, I think that would definitely raise that season above where it currently stands. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about in this one. I don't think I can fit it all into this video. Just go and read Festival of Death by Jonathan Morris. It's one of the best books of Doctor Who that I've read. Lovely Tom Baker story as well, amazing. Okay, let's see. Next up, we've got a Ninth Doctor book, Only Human by Gareth Roberts. Only Human by Gareth Roberts. Yeah, Only Human. It's a really good story. What can I say? Essentially, the Doctor, Rose, and Captain Jack. Yes, Jack's in this. Okay. Before I get too into it, I just want to lay down one of the funniest scenes in the whole book. They need a distraction at a hospital, so they asked Jack to come up with one. Now, what do you think Captain Jack Harkness, the omnisexual king of camp, comes up with? If you thought running naked through a hospital lobby to distract everyone, then you thought correctly. But yeah, besides that, there's some really good stuff in here. Probably going to get into a few spoilery bits here. Essentially, the Doctor, Rose, and Captain Jack find a Neanderthal caveman in Bromley in 2006. He's called Daz, and he's actually not stupid and dumb like you'd expect a caveman to be. He's actually really intelligent, can figure things out pretty well. He understands the concept of a TV and things like that. He actually grasps them without all that much explanation. But he does have problems understanding some modern concepts like fiction and stuff. So yeah, like Daz, he's quite an interesting character. Definitely subverts your expectations of your stereotypical caveman type character as well. But yeah, they tried to take Daz back to his home time millions of years ago, but they can't because he's been corrupted because of how he got transported into the future. They get Jack to buy him a flat, and they leave Daz and Jack together to live in this flat for like a month. It's quite funny. The Doctor's just like, okay Jack, see you in a month. Him and Rose just fuck off and leave him to help this caveman settle into modern life. It's really funny. At the end of some of the chapters, there's a few like little bits that detail how they're getting on, adjusting to the life in modern day Bromley. So yeah, that's quite funny. But yeah, the main bulk of the plot. Yeah, the Doctor and Rose go back in time to like caveman times, and they find that this group of people from like the 400th century or something like that have gone back in time, and yeah, I think they're doing some kind of scientific study, but essentially one of them, Chantal Osterberg, is a real bitch, and she's basically planning to rewrite the whole of human evolution from that point onwards with these new hybrid human monsters. And there's some kind of awful stuff in this, but in a good way. Yeah, the Doctor gets surgically implanted with this like drug administration thing like on his chest, and it like conks him out and makes him all like for a bit, but just like the Doctor he is, he manages to plow on through and still manages to frick shit up even when he's been slightly drugged into submission. I really like that scene. It does kind of like make you think, as amazing as the Doctor is, he is still vulnerable at times. And yeah, Rose gets kidnapped by Neanderthals and then sees them get brutally murdered, and then gets kidnapped by Homo sapiens, another tribe, and then gets forced into marriage with one of them, and also gets slapped around the face with a fish as part of the marriage ceremony. I still can't believe that that's actually a thing that's in the book. Oh yeah, Rose also gets her head cut off, but she's still alive. Part of one of Chantel's horrible experiments. She's just walking around, holding her head in her arms like this. And yeah, the Doctor makes all the cavemen breathe fire at one point to resolve one of the plot points, which was kind of weird, but kind of cool. And overall this is a very popular Ninth Doctor book, and I can see why. It is, well, it's fantastic. There you go, I said it. Yeah, would love to have seen that one as a TV story. Alright, last one. It's an 11th Doctor book, and it's The Silent Stars Go By. Now, this would have been a great Christmas episode, I think. We should have got this as a Christmas special instead of the shitty Narnia Doctor Widow wardrobe and the fucking stupid, bloody, boring ass 2011 Christmas special bullshit episode that we got. Yeah, I think it's safe to say I'm not a fan of that one. Yeah, this is really good. It's the 11th Doctor, Amy and Rory. They land on this Christmassy type planet, and yeah, it's basically that kind of idea of like a colonization mission that's been stranded on this planet for generations, and it's just gradually like devolved into its own sort of society, basically. Yeah, some things get muddled across the generations. They end up with like slightly different words and meanings, and they start worshipping like the mission brief manual, like in the ship structure, as well as like a sort of Bible type thing. And yeah, it's kind of a cool idea. Also, there's Ice Warriors and more mutant human hybrid type things. Seeing similarities here. I quite like it. It took a while to get going, gonna be honest. A few chapters in, I was starting to think it kind of dragged, but once it gets going, I think once the Ice Warriors show up, and then from there on out, it's just like, whoa. Yeah, really love it. It could have been a lovely Christmas episode, like a full hour long. I would have loved it if it was like a 2 hour long, like double length Christmas special type thing. This would have been so much better than Doctor Widow and the Wardrobe. It's just marvellous, honestly. Okay, so those are the 5 Doctor Who novels that I wish were TV stories. So, if you've read any of them, maybe give me your thoughts on them in the comments if you like. Perhaps give your own little list, or maybe just a couple of picks of Doctor Who books that you've read that you think would make good episodes on TV. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll hopefully see you in the next video on this channel. Bye!